From a viral gymnastics routine that made her a K-pop sensation overnight, to becoming a top-tier actress in China, Cheng Xiao's journey seems like a modern fairy tale. But behind the dazzling success lies a complex story of immense pressure, career-altering choices, and high-profile scandals that have tested her resilience. This is the story of how a young star navigated the treacherous path from idol to icon, facing down everything from international political controversies to malicious personal rumors. To see how she conquered it all, keep watching, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite stars. The year 2016 was a whirlwind in the world of South Korean pop music, an industry that moved at lightning speed and demanded constant innovation. Into this bustling scene stepped a new, ambitious project, a 13-member girl group named WJSN, or Cosmic Girls. The group's concept was grand and fantastical, with each member representing a different zodiac sign, promising a universe of talent and charm. Among this constellation of new faces, one member from China, Cheng Xiao, almost immediately captured the public's eye. Even before their official debut, buzz circulated around her almost unreal, doll-like features and a poise that seemed beyond her years. When their first music video, Mo Mo Mo, was released in February, she was a clear focal point. Her fluid movements and captivating presence made her a natural center, a visual anchor in a sea of synchronized performers. She embodied a unique combination of strength and grace, a result of a decade spent dedicated to traditional Chinese dance, before she ever set foot in a K-pop training room. While the group's debut was met with moderate success, breaking through in the saturated K-pop market was a formidable challenge. For months, WJSN followed the standard path of a rookie group, performing on weekly music shows, attending fan signs, and working tirelessly to build a dedicated following. Cheng Xiao, alongside her fellow members, navigated the grueling schedule, but she possessed a secret weapon, a skill set rarely seen in the idol world. This hidden talent would soon become her ticket to stardom. The opportunity came during the broadcast of the Idol Star Athletics Championships, a biannual television special where K-pop idols compete in various Olympic-style sports. It was a massive event, a chance for groups to showcase their personalities and athleticism outside the confines of the stage. For many, it was just a fun diversion. But for a rookie group like WJSN, it was a golden opportunity for a breakout moment. Cheng Xiao was entered into the rhythmic gymnastics competition, a new event that year. The pressure was immense. She would be performing solo, representing her entire group on a massive stage with all eyes on her. Unlike a choreographed group dance where a small mistake might go unnoticed, a solo gymnastics routine was unforgiving. Any slip, any drop of the ribbon or ball would be painfully obvious. When her turn came, she walked onto the mat with a quiet confidence that silenced the noisy stadium. The music began, and she transformed. What followed was a performance that left audiences, fellow idols, and commentators completely stunned. She moved with a breathtaking fluidity and precision that was far beyond what anyone expected from a K-pop singer. Her years of dance and martial arts training were on full display as she executed complex throws, catches, and acrobatic feats with an effortless grace. The flexibility she displayed was otherworldly, bending in ways that seemed to defy human anatomy. It wasn't just technically flawless, it was an artistic expression, a beautiful and powerful performance that transcended the context of an idol competition. The moment the routine ended, the arena erupted in thunderous applause. The footage went viral almost instantly. Clips of her performance circulated on social media, shared by people who had never even heard of WJSN before. She became an overnight sensation. That single 2-minute routine did more for the group's recognition than months of traditional promotions. Cheng Xiao became known as the girl who was a master of rhythmic gymnastics, the idol with the unbelievable flexibility. The A nickname that stuck was Chun-Li, after the iconic video game character, a nod to her Chinese heritage and powerful aura. This newfound fame flung the doors of opportunity wide open. Suddenly, she was one of the most in-demand new stars in South Korea. Variety show producers clamored to have her as a guest. She appeared on major programs like Law of the Jungle, where she had to survive in a remote wilderness setting, showing a tougher, more resilient side to her personality that contrasted with her delicate stage image. She became a cast member on Swan Club, a show focused on ballet, allowing her to further showcase her deep roots in dance. Each television appearance was a victory, not just for her, but for her group. With every show she was on, the name WJSN was mentioned, bringing more attention and new fans to their music. However, this skyrocketing success came with its own set of immense difficulties. Her career was not just confined to South Korea. As a Chinese member signed to Huyp Entertainment, a major Chinese agency that co-managed the group, she was also expected to build a career in her home country. This meant she was living a life split between two worlds, a grueling reality of constant travel and immense pressure. Her days became a blur of airports and hotel rooms. She would fly from Seoul to Beijing or Shanghai for a Chinese schedule, often a photo shoot, a variety show appearance, or a promotional event, only to fly back to South Korea a day or two later to rejoin WJSN for a music show performance or a group practice. The physical toll was enormous, a relentless cycle of jet lag and exhaustion. Beyond the physical strain, there was the mental and cultural challenge of navigating two distinct entertainment industries. She had to be fluent not just in two languages, but in two different sets of cultural expectations and professional etiquette. She was pulled in two directions by two powerful companies, each with its own plans and priorities for her career. This constant juggling act, the relentless demand to be present and perfect in two places at once, began to define her life. While her star was rising higher than anyone could have imagined, the foundations of her career were being laid across a fault line, a geographic and professional divide that would present ever-growing challenges in the years to come. The delicate balance she had maintained between South Korea and China was destined to tip. By 2018, the sheer gravity of her rising stardom in her home country became an undeniable force, pulling her focus eastward. The catalyst for this definitive shift was a single, career-altering television show, Idol Producer. This was China's blockbuster answer to the K-pop survival show format, a cultural phenomenon that commanded the nation's attention. Cheng Xiao was invited not as a contestant, but as a dance mentor. At just 19 years old, she sat on a panel of esteemed industry veterans, tasked with training and judging 100 aspiring male idols, many of whom were her own age. This role was a masterstroke. It instantly elevated her status from a popular girl group member to a respected authority figure. On screen, she was no longer just a flexible girl from the athletics championships. She was a serious, demanding, and insightful teacher. Her critiques were sharp, her demonstrations flawless, and her guidance proved invaluable to the trainees. The show's explosive popularity meant that hundreds of millions of viewers were seeing this new, mature version of Cheng Xiao every week. Her fame in China skyrocketed into the stratosphere, far eclipsing the recognition she had in Korea. This tectonic shift in her career had immediate and lasting consequences for her role within WJSN. The group continued to release music and promote in South Korea, but their Chinese star was increasingly absent. What began as missing a few promotional events turned into missing entire comeback cycles. Each new group photo released without her, each music video where her parts were noticeably missing, sparked a fresh wave of concern and speculation among the group's loyal fan base. The official explanation was always scheduling conflicts, a plausible but increasingly frustrating reason for fans who missed her dynamic presence on stage. The difficulty lay in the unspoken reality that everyone was beginning to understand. Her solo career in China was now her main focus, and the logistics of rejoining the group in Korea for weeks of practice and promotion became nearly impossible to manage. A quiet distance began to grow, not born of any personal animosity, but from the practical demands of a career that was now firmly anchored in a different country. She was caught in a professional limbo, still officially a member of the group that launched her, but living a completely separate professional life. With her popularity in China secured, the next logical step was the transition into acting, a well-trodden path for top-tier idols. In 2020, she made her formal debut as an actress, taking on significant roles in the action comedy series Detective Chinatown and the historical fantasy drama Legend of Awakening. This move brought a new kind of pressure. The public was watching with critical eyes, eager to see if the beloved performer could translate her charisma into a compelling, dramatic performance. The transition proved to be a formidable challenge. While her star power guaranteed viewership, her initial performances were met with mixed reviews. Critics and audiences pointed out the stiffness and lack of nuance that often characterize an idol's early forays into acting. It was a difficult but necessary learning curve. She was no longer just relying on her innate physical grace and stage presence. She had to learn the craft of building a character from the ground up, of conveying complex emotions through subtle expression and dialogue. This period was marked by the growing pains of a young artist pushing her boundaries, facing the public's judgment, as she worked to prove she was more than just a pretty face with incredible flexibility. As her stature as a major Chinese celebrity solidified, she encountered a new and far more treacherous type of challenge, one that extended beyond performance critiques and fan speculation. In March of 2021, she found herself at the center of a major international controversy. Tensions were rising between China and several Western nations over allegations of forced labor involving the Uyghur minority in the Xinjiang region, a major producer of cotton. In response, numerous global fashion brands announced they would boycott cotton from the area. This triggered a powerful wave of nationalistic sentiment within China, and celebrities were expected to pick a side. Cheng Xiao, along with many other prominent Chinese entertainers, made her position clear. She posted on her social media accounts publicly supporting Xinjiang cotton, a move that included cutting ties with brands that had taken a stand against it. Within China, this was seen as a patriotic and necessary act of solidarity. Internationally, however, the backlash was swift and severe. She was heavily criticized by global audiences and human rights advocates, who saw her stance as an endorsement of the Chinese government's controversial policies. This incident starkly illustrated the perilous tightrope that high-profile Chinese stars must walk. The very act of aligning with her country's position placed her in direct opposition to a significant portion of her international fan base, marking a profound and difficult moment where her career became entangled with complex and volatile global politics. The years of ambiguity of being a member of a group in name but not in practice finally came to a quiet and formal end. In March of 2023, the announcement was made. Cheng Xiao had officially concluded her journey with WJSN. For fans who had followed her career closely, the news was not a shock, but rather a long-expected confirmation of the path she had been on for half a decade. The statement was a simple administrative necessity, a final piece of paperwork that aligned her official status with her reality. The chapter on her life as a K-pop idol, the one that had launched her into the public consciousness with its dazzling gymnastics and synchronized choreography, was now definitively closed. This formal departure was a liberating moment, freeing her from the persistent questions and the weight of expectation from a fan base an entire country away. She was no longer a star divided between two nations. She was fully and unequivocally a Chinese actress and entertainer, her career ambitions now completely aligned with her professional life. The future was clear, a straight path forward into the heart of the Chinese entertainment industry. With this newfound clarity, she focused intently on her acting career, taking on a succession of roles that continued to build her portfolio. However, the stratosphere of celebrity she now occupied was a turbulent place, and the challenges she would face were becoming more personal, more vicious, and entirely unpredictable. In the summer of 2023, a firestorm erupted from the darkest corners of the internet. A baseless and scandalous rumor began to circulate on social media, linking her to the legendary Hong Kong actor Tony Leung, a man 36 years her senior and a revered figure in global cinema. The fabrication was as shocking as it was absurd. The anonymous posts alleged a secret affair and, in a truly malicious escalation, claimed that she had recently given birth to his child. The rumor was a work of pure fiction, yet it spread like wildfire, fueled by the internet's insatiable appetite for gossip. It was a brutal introduction to a new kind of modern warfare, where a person's reputation could be attacked with anonymous lies that traveled faster than any truth. The assault on her character was so extreme that it required an immediate and forceful response. Her agency issued a blistering denial, labeling the claims as outrageously fake and vowing legal action. Tony Leung, famously private, was also forced to make a public statement condemning the fabrications and reaffirming his commitment to his wife, the actress Carina Lau. The incident was a harsh lesson in the dark side of fame. She had become a target for reasons she could not control, her name and image weaponized in a baseless smear campaign. It was a difficulty born not from any misstep of her own, but from the simple fact that her level of fame made her a recognizable and vulnerable target. The public scrutiny did not relent. As she moved on to her next project, she found that even the professional environment of a film set could become a source of public controversy. In early 2024, a short, out-of-context video clip from the set of a drama she was filming began to make the rounds online. The video showed the director, Guo Jingming, a powerful and often controversial figure in Chinese cinema, appearing to reprimand her in front of the crew. His tone was sharp, his words critical, and to the outside observer, it painted a clear picture. A demanding director was putting a supposedly unprofessional young actress in her place. The clip was perfect fodder for her detractors, feeding into the tired stereotype of the idol-turned-actress, who lacked the discipline and seriousness of a real actor. The initial wave of online commentary was harsh, with many rushing to criticize her work ethic based on a few seconds of footage. However, the full story was more complicated. A fan who was reportedly present during the filming later came forward with a different account, explaining that the director's frustration was not with her attitude, but with a persistent costume issue that was causing delays. Regardless of the truth, the incident highlighted her extreme vulnerability in a high-pressure work environment. Every moment, every interaction could be recorded, stripped of its context, and broadcast to the world to be dissected and judged. It was a stark reminder of the immense difficulty of navigating a career under a constant microscope, where one unguarded moment could be twisted into a narrative that threatened to undermine years of hard work and dedication. The challenges were no longer about learning lines or perfecting a dance routine. They were about surviving the relentless glare of the public eye and the ever-present risk of being misunderstood and misrepresented. Cheng Xiao's career is a masterclass in adaptation and survival. She successfully pivoted from one of K-pop's most recognizable faces to a leading actress in China, a feat few can manage. Along the way, she weathered storms that would have ended other careers. From political backlash to vicious public rumors, emerging more determined than ever. Her story is a powerful testament to ambition and the immense fortitude required to stay at the top. What did you think of her journey? Let us know below and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this one.